Now here's another exam type question. This time you'll notice that we know that this side is 13 and we know that the angle opposite is 60. So this time we can use the sine rule because we know a pair of side and opposite angle. So let's start labeling this diagram. I've labeled it A for the 60 degrees, little a for the side of 13, which could be centimeters or meters. It's not specified, so it's just 13 units. And then I've called the other two big B for the angle and little b for the side. So the rule says that a side divided by the sine of its opposite angle is the same for any pair of side and angle that you pick in a particular triangle. So in this triangle, 13 divided by sine of 60 is the same as 12 divided by sine of this angle here, x, whatever it happens to be. So we can take that relationship and start doing a bit of algebra with it to try and find out what the missing thing, x, is. So first of all, well, we don't like fractions in algebra, so we're going to try and get rid of this 13 over sine 60. I'm going to multiply both sides by sine 60. So 13 divided by sine 60, multiply it by sine 60, and then you just get the top bit. But then you've got to do the same on the other side, so that fraction times sine 60 gives you sine 60 on the top. But we've still got a fraction in this, so I'm going to multiply both sides by sine x to get rid of the fraction. So if I multiply the right hand side by sine x, the fraction disappears, but then the 13 on the left hand side gets bigger by a factor of sine x, so it becomes 13 times sine x. So that's just both sides multiplied by sine x. Well, remember we're trying to get the x on its own, so the easiest thing to get rid of at the moment is the 13. So I'm going to divide both sides by 13 to get the sine x bit on its own. Now this is something we can work out on our calculators. Now remember, if you know what the sine of something is, then the way to work out what the actual number itself is to do the inverse sine. We saw that in the previous presentation on trigonometry. Inverse sine has a lot of names. It could be shift sine on your calculator, or the proper mathematical name is in fact arc sine. So if the sine of angle x is this value here, then x itself is the arc sine or inverse sine of that, and that comes out to 53 degrees. So just run through the calculations on your own calculator to try and confirm that. Okay, here's another question. Again, we've got a side here of 8 and an angle of 57, and we've got an angle of 62 and a missing side called J. Now because we know that the 8 is opposite the 57, we can use the sine rule. So the sine rule basically just says 8 divided by sine 57 equals that one there, J, divided by sine 62. Now this is different from the last problem because what we're missing is a side and not an angle. But we still do it exactly the same way. Start with the rule, put the information in. 8 divided by sine 57 equals J divided by sine 62. Do some algebra to work out what the missing thing is. So multiply both sides by sine 57, multiply both sides by sine 62, divide both sides by sine 57, and then you've got the J on its own, which works out at 8.42. And I suggest you just pause the film and try and take that step by step yourself. So play it back and pause it at each step to try and understand what's going on with that.